All right, so what's up, guys? I had intended to make more videos and shit like that, but I mean, it is what it is. Motivation, all that shit isn't always there to make videos. And plus, you start to realize like a lot of people don't really care about learning the game. They want like quick tips and shit like that, or they want to just get boosted. Um, but I will probably still make videos or something like a little more in depth on some of these things. I had a plan to make a video with like literal in depth laning from the very basics of like before you even start a game, pick, ban phase, and all that bullshit. But I mean, whether I make it or not, it's just a whole different thing. I don't really keep up with what's like other videos within the Pred space because I don't really care. But if I make it or not, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyways, this is an update I've been extremely excited for, like waiting for to see if they actually deal with a lot of the problems, right? I did read this when I woke up. I think a little bit after it came out. So I mean, I understand. I've already read it. I think this patch is kind of like it's in a good direction, but they're always afraid to do what needs to be done for some reason in order to make certain things balanced. And it's kind of weird at times, but I in the grand scope of things, I think they do it because if they try to do the things I won't like I said in the last video where they need to have actual caps and shit like that. I believe I said like they need to have caps or anything. Even if I didn't say in the last video, that's just been my like general thought as I've played the game this entire patch. Right, there needs to be caps. You can't have infinitely scaling anything in this game or in a MOBA. It just does not work very well, especially when you have a lot of it tied to kills and assists as well. So I'm not gonna bother with new hero. I'm not gonna bother because I don't really care. The reason why I don't care is like it doesn't really matter until like it comes out and we see how it actually interacts with a lot of items, shit like that. Um, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. People are saying it's very interesting, all that stuff, which is cool. You know, they've been doing pretty well, I think, on new characters. So I mean, I can't really say much on that. They have been recently coming out a little more balanced and shit like that. Let's see. I did not read this. Words. Okay, I do not care. I do not give a fuck about any of this. My my uh my opinion on ranked is still the same. There's too many problems. There's no real punishment for smurfing, for boosting. But their creators boost themselves. Their creators literally boost all their friends. Everyone is boosted. There's no rank decay, and because there is no rank decay, the top like 5% of the player base, most of them don't even play the game anymore. They hit rank, and then they hit whatever rank they want to hit, Diamond, Paragon, and then they just stop playing the game. So they get boosted, they quit the game, and then the only things that's left for the rest of the fucking two months of the season are the players that suck at the game. So once after the first month or so, like the majority of the people just don't play ranked anymore, except for the lower brackets, and it's really fucking annoying. The lower brackets and Smurfs because it's absolutely frustrating. That's why I usually only have like 100 fucking ranked games in a season. I get to like plat 1, plat 2, then I just stop because it just gets terrible. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at this. Lastly, we have fixed a bug in the internal MMR system that was causing players who played a large amount of games to get inflated MMRs. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. This is why we've been seeing people in like Plat Plus with 45% win rates. This is why motherfuckers in Paragon don't even win half their games. Are you serious right now with this shit? Are you serious, Omega? Holy shit. But okay, outside of that, I do think that like the biggest thing about this patch, or at least for me, is the fact that Daybreak is already on the horizon. It's there, it's coming, it's about to be released at this point, and I am so happy because it fixes a lot of the issues in the current game, which have to do with spam ganking with little to no punishment for it, because you can just gank, go back into the jungle, and lose only like 5 to 10 seconds. It fixes other issues like death timers being a problem in the early game, because the longer map just means it takes them longer to get to lane anyways. It changes a lot of this brain dead pushing gameplay that people tend to do, because you can get hard punished for it now. Literally what it means is like if you try a hard push now like you did before and you don't understand how your wave works, you can get fucked by just doing that. And the bigger map allows for more map play to be important than it is at the moment. Because at the moment, you can literally just hard push roam, hard push roam, hard push roam, hard push roam, and there's like you lose nothing for it. You get rewarded for doing that because there's gold drip for just being near minions. You get bonus XP because all your minions are dead anyway, so you just roam and get XP from another lane, and then come back to your lane anyways. And if you get a kill, even better. So I'm waiting for Daybreak to come out, because that map will absolutely change the game from a brawler to a more slower paced MOBA kind of gameplay where strategy is more important. Okay, I skipped some shit on when I first read it because I don't really care about the toxicity crap. Okay, now we're incorrectly informed. Get a chat ban at a higher rate. Okay, because we can't even talk about in-game mechanics without getting chat banned, so that's great. Fix a bug where players are not correctly banned for voice chat when banned from text. I do not care. Players will now get banned at a higher rate for matchmaking. Channel our timers automatically based on game tracking. What the fuck does this mean? I mean, if their bans don't do shit, it literally doesn't. I dodged one game. I dodged one game this week. I dodged one game and I got a 24-hour ban. Why the fuck am I getting a 24-hour ban for dodging a game, a low level lobby game? Might I add? It was on an account that I'm using to get fucking free cores, and I dodged a game at level 10. My account is level 10. I'm playing with new players, and well, I guess not anymore because the win rate just kind of shot that up. But I'm playing with okay players at this point. The new account, one dodged normal game was a 24-hour ban. I think a lot of their toxicity crap is like fine, it's cool and all, but it's just overdone because if I am not mistaken, someone please correct me. Omega is based in like the EU, right? Like or some shit like that, and the whole thing with the UK and all their shit going on with the extreme fucking censorship and all that crap is why I feel like this is what's happening to Pred over here, or Pred in general. And it's kind of annoying. You can't even talk about the fucking game. You can't say kill. There's sometimes you try to say something. I've said abilities. I said something about like we have to kill orb, and I get chat banned. Like, come on. Like, come the fuck on, dude. I don't really care about front end. I do not care. And that's cool and all, but like I don't care about that. Okay. I think this is interesting, but I don't think it's gonna do what they think it's going to do. So like it's going to do current health damage along some flat damage, right? Like that's cool. That is cool and all. But when you try to think about it in the grand scheme of things, the characters that have healing aren't going to give a fuck because they're still going to heal. They legitimately do not give a fuck. All this really changes is if they get invaded. And even if they do get invaded, it just kind of makes it more annoying to like fight back because this does more damage to you. But realistically speaking, tanks are just gonna get their ass beat anyways. That's just how that is. Okay, so smiting now heals, but like they don't really explain how this works, so I can't really talk on it. Like, is it over time after a camp dies? Is it as you smite? You know, like it doesn't really tell you how this works yet. So see what happens. No, wait. I think it's a tails here. Okay, does say shit. I think this is kind of stupid because generally speaking, if you play enough of the game, just playing the game, you kind of understand what camps were done. Just because if you play it enough, you can be like, oh, they only cleared this one camp, or they only cleared this and they skipped the camp because they only have 12 farm, or they only have 11 farms, so they only did these two camps. They skipped and they went to the gank, or they skipped this and then went to that side, right? Like it's doesn't change much of anything. It fucks the people who already have a certain idea of how the game works. So this is again one of those things changes they made for newer players or players that don't know how to play the game very well or understand it. I mean, anything that fixes hitboxes is appreciated because there's a lot of stupid shit going on with that still. Like even now, Quang cannot. You don't have to stand in Quang's little AOE when he throws his tether for the second ability. You know that when he throws the lightning at it or whatever, the true damage part. You don't have to actually be standing in it for it to hit you at the moment, which is fucking weird. New returning items, Gamma Goop. I mean, this is interesting and all, but I don't think it's going to be very useful. There's so many other better options, like for crests and stuff like that. Like it's cool, sounds interesting. So brace deal 80 plus 3% bonus health and magical damage and a 55 whatever unit radius around you that grounds enemies for 1.5 seconds. Like that's cool, that's great. But in the grand scheme of things, grounding does not stop you from getting your ass absolutely exploded at the moment. It's interesting. It's a decent idea, but it's very limited in who to use it with and for. Versus, I can either get more health, I can regen 15% of my health, or I can return a certain amount of damage that you do to me anyways, and you'll kill yourself. So this is very extremely situational. It's probably something you'll only see, if ever, in like comp play. Rebirth. Oh, this is the item, right? Mechanical die, enter resurrection, stay for the second of its duration has elapsed. This is another one where like I don't really know. Like you'll probably see Greystone build this. I don't think it's amazing. It's a generally okay. I mean, it might be a little overloaded on stats because it has health, physical power, magical armor, physical armor, ability haste. Like it has a little bit of everything, which will be a problem, right? But I don't know, man. This one's a little iffy, but I could see it being used on top of Salvation, and because of how Eternals work and the damage and all the free sustain that are in those items, I could see Salvation on top of Rebirth being an issue and it making certain fights or characters annoying just to even kill. Okay, so this is what I've been so fucking excited for Daybreak. And I was reading some of the changes they made, and they make a lot of sense. At least to me at the moment, they make a lot of sense. And I'm honestly just excited that this map is going to come out because I'm not much of a hard laner. Like my strength in the game aren't like 1v1s, boxing or anything like that. It's more about map play and wave manipulation, and that's the way I win my games. I suck mechanically in terms of actually managing the character and fucking fighting and all that crap, but I am decent at understanding how the game works, like at wave level or in lane and rotations and stuff like that. Okay, I think the shrines are a very interesting idea, and the fact that they're making them harder to kill later, they're doing a lot of the things. Oh my god, I love that they're doing these things. They spawn later, initial spawn increase. Yeah, they spawn later and they take longer to respawn. That is absolutely great because they were being really annoying with that shit. Like every 2 minutes you'd have to go and kill them, or they get it and it's extra gold XP or something like that. And plus, like it gives you like a small bonus to your team. So I think making it easier to kill early is great. Making it harder to kill as the game goes on, perfect. That's how it should be because by like 5, I think by 10 minutes or so, you start like 2 or 3 shotting them, so it makes even trying to contest them like pointless. These are the things that I fucking wish they would bring to them, like the straight game. I don't think they're implemented on the current map or going to be implemented on the current map, right? But I would wish these changes were made. Gold value chain from 80+4 to a fucking, and they do this to Cyan too, right? Like this is just generally what they do. But I hate that there's going to be 2 of them, though I understand. I guess it's to make it fair, you know. Each side gets one, and the side that does better gets both, kind of shit. But it's still kind of idiotic to me. But I think it just makes it easier. So gold and Cyan are like their XP is nerfed, their gold worth is nerfed. They take longer to respawn, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they take longer to respawn, but now there's 2 of them, so it makes it a little fair, I guess. I'm still of the opinion that these 2 buffs should not exist, like at all. I just don't think they should exist, right? And to make it like to explain why I don't think they exist, let's make it very simple. Let's say you have the same characters on each side of the map, right? The same fucking characters, right? Everyone's at the same skill level, and they're just going at it. Realistically, the game isn't a stalemate, right? It's just a flat out stalemate. So let's say in off lane, we change that a little bit, right? We change it just a little bit, and we put something like Bale into Shimmy. So now Bale has an extremely strong early game because of his, well, they nerfed it, but it's still stupidly broken. He has an extremely strong early game, right? Because of his third auto and his heal. So what's going to end up happening is he's going to have prio in that lane. He's going to have advantage through resources. He's going to have HP advantage. He's going to have mana advantage. He's going to have wave management advantage. He's going to have like a shit, like just advantage overall, right? He's going to be slowly extending his lead naturally because he's on the character that does that on its own. So the problem with Cyan and Gold Buff at the moment is that it just makes doing that easier. It makes it even easier to do, and it's extremely oppressive in higher level play. You end up becoming like a level up by about 11 minutes because you're going to be getting those Cyan buffs consistently. There's almost no way to contest it. You're always going to have prio in lane, and the only thing you can do about it is wait for your jungler to do like to gank. Because as a Shimby or anything that has like lower prio in the lane, you legitimately cannot do anything about it. Like, there's nothing you can do. So I think those buffs shouldn't exist because if you're already playing a counter pick or playing a strong lane, they are naturally rewarded with a free Cyan because they get those leads and advantages by just already having the built-in advantage through their kit. So this just makes it easier for these characters to snowball out of control because it allows them to heal up and just go back and do it again. Even if they fuck up and they lose more health than they should have, they just go get green buff and they come back and it's like they lost nothing. They don't have to manage their health. They don't have to manage their mana. They just need to keep brain dead pushing and hope that the enemy jungler does not gank ever and that they auto win lane that way. And I don't think that should be a mechanic in the game. Like just remove it. Like I don't think it should be a mechanic. Everything else is just there's gold increases and XP increases to jungle camps. Wait. Okay, this might not be correct because that shows they lowered it. I think that's supposed to be 285. The respawn time, not so much. I do think they need to increase the XP because at the moment, that map, jungle, feels a little wonky. But they did make some changes. As for PCC, I really don't care. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't care. I saw some games. There's very few good teams, realistically speaking. Like, don't get me wrong, I think some of these players are really good, but the majority of the players in there are like plat level at best, in my opinion, or low diamond, right? I'm still of the opinion that a lot of these Paragon players don't really play against enough people of their own level to understand where they actually sit in the game. At the moment, I keep seeing a lot of Paragon players in standards because, again, there's no rank decay, so they don't even play ranked anymore, and they haven't for months. They're in standards, right? And I see Paragon players daily when I play. Just the other day, ironically enough, on a fucking gold account, like a gold one account, I was playing against was it some femboy, something femboy. I forgot what his name was. Something femboy, and then I think he's currently the rank one, Flacito, whatever the fuck. That was interesting. But outside of that, I go against Paragon players on the daily, and none of them have felt like they were anything great, like at all, ever. None of them felt great. But anyways, that's beside the point. Okay, see here, towers on set of refresher, towers minions. I think this is a little interesting. I think this is fine, specifically the not fire at a consistent rate, because there's a lot of times where you could like minions and heroes would walk into tower range and instantly get hit, and it was extremely annoying because like there should be specific timings for those things, and this will fix that. I like these changes that they're making. Um, the minion AI has needed to change since fucking beta. It's been the same. I believe before the game launch, they said they fixed the minions, and then it turned out nothing was changed about them. So there's that. Um, the comeback XP is something that needed to happen because it's really fucking annoying, specifically in jungle where you'll be up like 70, 80 CS, you're up, but because they got a lucky kill on like let's say they just randomly touched you in a fight and killed you, they end up ahead of you somehow. And it just never made any sense to me. And this is something that needed to happen. This is probably one of the reasons why games get extended so long, because the comeback mechanic just makes it so difficult to do any to be aggressive, because if you fuck up, they end up ahead instantly. Okay, minion AI. Okay, so these are things that are a little interesting. The whole minion changes and stuff like that, where minions are now like later into the game to stop the games from being so long, which is a whole other issue that also is tied to Eternals, to be fair. But I understand they want games to last a specific amount of time and stuff like that. But it's a little weird that they're like levels that don't technically exist in the game. Minions can now hit level 60. Okay, but what does that exactly mean? I don't know if anyone has that data for that or like the information on that, because what the fuck does it mean that they scale now to level 60? Is it keeping the normal scaling that they have originally? And they're just getting a certain amount of health every level and a certain amount of damage every level? That like okay. But on a side note, I think this is also good for the current map, specifically because now wave management is extremely important now in the later portions of the game, since minions now gets a lot stronger than now, and that means they get more health, they get more damage, and they get more priority in terms of importance. So let's say slow pushing or hard pushing near the end of a game, or like when inhibs are up, kind of thing, makes this way more important than just randomly team fighting for an objective and backing and just trying to end that way. So map play, this makes map play more important in like let's say the 30-minute mark or so. So those games learn macro, and you might actually be able to win more consistently with just split pushing. Oh, this is the whole change that they're talking about. The changes they're making. Okay. Okay, so when using it, it heals 90 plus 15. That's not that big of a deal, to be honest. Damage increased. 5% of current health is actually a decent amount, but again, when you're running characters that do not give a fuck about that, what does it matter? They're healing so much health that it doesn't matter. Versus tanks who have more health and are realistically losing more stats. So, like, does that make sense? Like, it's like trying to compare, like saying, "Oh, we're gonna give you." I'm trying to think of a way to give a comparison for this shit, because it's like if you want to start talking about percentages, realistically speaking, one is losing more than the other on repeat, but one is able to heal that instantly while the other isn't, kind of thing. So it's a little weird, but if you're running cricks, it's not that big of a deal. but it's just a little weird. Like it doesn't really change anything in the grand scheme of things, if that makes sense. It doesn't change anything really. If anything, it just makes it even more annoying for tanks if they get invaded. And this, I don't care. I do not care about any of this. It's just stupid as shit. Eternals. So ironically enough, I don't think Burmist needed to be nerfed. I don't. I don't think Burmist needed to be nerfed. I think it's probably the least problematic of the Eternals in terms of what's on this patch notes. I don't think it needed to be nerfed. I don't. I think this crush, the ability where you like if you stun someone, you do a percentage of the health as extra bonus damage or some shit like that. I think that's a good change because, I mean, Vermis Steel was annoying. Like random ass like on hit characters were using it, like Bellic and all that shit, right? Like all these random ass ones were using it, and they made it really oppressive if they just got a lucky ability. So there's that. But on a side note, I need to say that I do like any nerf to damage right now is a fucking win. Any nerf to damage is a win right now because damage is getting absolutely insane. I had a game once where I was full build tank and everyone's running all these fucking damage buffs and there's so much damage like passives now from just existing in the game, and the RNG about it is insane. So I think someone had like a 60% or not 40% increase in damage at one point because of assists and kills. Like this does it just kind of makes the snowballing problem absolutely unbearable if there's just a slight difference in skill. It makes it absolutely unbearable and impossible to play into. So I was playing a full fucking build tank. I think I was Sevrog, right? Playing full build Sevrog. Everyone is running the Xerxes or whatever the fuck, the one you get more damage for minion kills, and then Lotus and all that crap. Full build Sevrog, about 7,000 HP. I died in 3 seconds. I died in 3 seconds. I got popped with actual resistances and everything. I got instantly popped. There's just too much fucking damage in the game, man. It's just insane. But everyone keeps saying it's not because, well, they're benefiting from it, and no one wants to play tanks. No one likes to lose to tanks, so they just think tanks should just die instantly for some reason. Again, a lot of these are just wins in general. They're nerfing a lot of like problems with reducing durability, which is awesome. Anything like that, take it. I will take it. I don't remember what subsurface was because it just says damage reduction decrease. I think I don't know. I don't think it was the one for minions, but it ain't that big a deal. The Marrow Omnivamp one is just an overall problem in the game that already has a stupid amount of sustain. You get sustain from crests. You have multiple options on items, and then now you have Eternals to boost that. You know, it's just kind of annoying. I think this change is good. I think this change is good because it makes it more versatile, and it's not just if there's tanks on the enemy team kind of thing, or like if you're always fighting on low health. This is good. This is a good change. It used to be if they have more health than you, then they take more damage or some shit like that. Now this just makes it more reliable to work with. You're always doing a little bit of more damage in some way, shape, or form. True damage increase the maw. This damage more. True damage increase from 12% to 10%. Oh yeah, this is the one where you did bonus true damage or something based on how low their health was, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I mean, any buff to any nerf to damage is perfect for me. Nerf it, nerf the damage. Gut it all. So this is where I'm saying like they make some really good changes. They're understanding there's issues, and they're like they're approaching them, they're touching them, but then they do this, right? Um, To be fair, if like just lower the fucking damage and then remove the damage reduction. Like, does it really? Why do they get damage reduction and damage? Like, it should be one or the other. One or the other. Either they get damage reduction because it helps them win the fight anyways, or they get increased damage because either one slightly does the same thing in the like the grand scheme of things in terms of extended fights and 1v1s. You get an advantage from just having one or the other. I don't know why they have to have both. But anyways, this is what I'm talking about. This is something that needs to be capped. Ferocity, attack speed decreased from 1.5% to 1.25%. It used to be 2% or some shit like that, right? At the very beginning. So the problem with this is there's a lot of ways to abuse this. A lot of ways to abuse this. And it's kind of annoying. So what I mean by that is like things like let's say Greystone, right? Greystone by first back can not instantly clear the wave, but he by first back, not many people or anyone can realistically outclear him. So this creates kind of a weird gameplay loop where Greystone will just jump into the wave, kill the wave as you're beating the crap out of him. He will try to beat the crap out of you. And all you're doing is making it easier for him to clear that wave and then beat the shit out of you. Because he's going to be getting increased attack speed the entire time. And he's just going to turn on you and beat the shit out of you with the increased attack speed and with his abilities, right? And if he lands his jump on you, he gets the reset. It cuts it like by 40% or some shit like that. So he'll jump on you, get the reset like within 8 seconds or so, and then jump on you again and just beat the crap out of you with consistent damage because you kept giving him free attack speed. Ferocity creates this really, really unhealthy game loop where you cannot interact with characters. Like, you legitimately cannot interact with them. Because by trying to interact with them, you're giving them advantages. And what I mean by this is like, let's talk about Bale again. Because Bale is one of the main abusers of this shit, at least in my opinion. Early levels, let's say you're playing, again, we'll use Shinbi because Shinbi's my main and it's kind of the best example to use in this situation. Let's say we use Shinbi, right? And Shinbi's going against Bale. What are Shinbi's options, realistically speaking? All she can do is poke. She can only poke Bale for the majority of the game. Right? But the problem is, if you poke him, he's just clearing your way faster. So what do? You're fucked. Because if you poke him, he clears the wave faster, right? If you don't poke him, he's just going to clear the wave anyways. And if he sits inside that minion wave, you don't want to touch him, so you just lose farm, I guess, or he just continues to have advantages for not needing to know how to play the game and getting smacked in the face, right? That's a problem. It's an extremely unhealthy aspect of the game right now. And you can see this shit in mid as well. I run it with my friends and all these other people, right? And it's the most idiotic shit. We run shit like Bale mid. We run Greystone mid. Like, because realistically speaking, unless they absolutely pop us, it doesn't stop us from just pushing the wave and leaving. Once you get that first back and you get your Overlord or whatever, like if they try to poke you, you just kill the wave and leave. What are they gonna do about it? They don't do enough damage to actually make it, a threat to you. Kill the wave, walk away. Kill the wave, walk away. You kill the wave with less mana because, again, you're getting infinite attack speed for them just hitting you. They don't do enough damage for it to matter to you. You clear the wave, and then they're stuck trying to waste all their mana on either clearing the wave or trying to beat the shit out of you, right? And it creates this really weird cycle that it's extremely difficult to deal with. Okay. I mean, this is cool and everything. Festering Wounds has now been adjusted to apply anti-heal effect on immobilizing enemies. Like, that's cool. Awesome. Cool. No one cares. No one's gonna use this. No one's gonna use this. Ever. Like, there's no point. There's no point in using this. Ever. The other options are just so much better. Like, why the fuck would anyone do this? It's just pointless. And the reason why it's pointless is because you want something that's more consistent, you don't really want anything that's like reliant on you landing an ability. The easier something is to proc, the better. So why would I go anti-heal on something that I'm required to land abilities on, that we're in a game where mobility is absolutely everywhere. Anyone and everyone at the moment can jump, can dash, can silence you, can do all these crazy ass fucking things right now. That landing reliable CC is a lot more difficult than it sounds. So instead of going for something that requires me to land big ass abilities, I would rather just have something like a tainted guard where, well, they hit me, they got the effect. Ironically enough, I never saw this as a big issue. I never saw the mending on Idrisil an issue. But I guess it only really applies when you're talking about melee matchups. But at the moment, everyone and their mother just plays range because Thrax exists. Because infinite scaling on Thrax exists, and all these other options that are available to a lot of these range characters. And I'll talk about one of them in a little bit because I'm abusing that shit, and it's funny as shit that it is not getting nerfed anywhere near hard enough. But it's only really effective in melee matchups, realistically speaking, and in very specific cases. Very few, or at least to my opinion or my knowledge, there are very few characters that would even bother getting Idrisil, and one of them is Terra because, well, she wants to be tanky at all times, and because she scales off it really well. And so there's that. Okay, Vesh. Honestly, again, nerf damage, fine, but this isn't really. These aren't really the big problems in the game. This isn't really a problem. I think the ability haste one. I mean, it's cool in theory and stuff, but it's also not great. It's just kind of like an extra one if you want to try it, sure. But it's not getting the ability haste from like takedowns and stuff isn't really the priority in terms of what you would want from Vesh. You know, people just tend to go for the other one, which is what was it? It's bonus damage. It's like 2% damage or bonus damage on ability hits, right? Or of health. So Cyrus, there we go. Cyrus, what the fuck do I want to call it? I think I was calling it Xerxes earlier, whatever. Cyrus is an issue, but now it's absolute garbage. Now it is absolute garbage. You get about a 16% increase to damage now. If I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you get like, yeah, it's a total of like 16%, right? If I'm not mistaken, because every 10 units killed is 0.4%. You kill 100 units, you multiply it by 10, becomes 4%. So by 400 units, it's 16%. So this one is now absolutely pointless to go because if you want damage, just go for anything else at that point. There are better options, especially for mages right now. And I'm not talking about like damage wise. It's just right now there's a better option. Of course, I'm not gonna say for all mages because it's just what I've been using. It fits to my playstyle. But in my opinion, Xyrus is just kind of useless now because it takes so long for it to like be anything good in comparison to everything else. The way they have the games going right now, it's pushing the games to be faster. So it means things like scaling, like I guess like before, kind of pointless. And again, in a second, I'll explain why. Like I don't understand why Fur is getting nerfed. It's not even that big of a deal. It's 20% attack speed versus Thrax with a fucking infinite scaling attack speed, which anything like Howie can abuse because his Howie can abuse it because his autos have cleave, which is usually only reserved for melees. But this is a change they made a long time ago because he has no wave clear. So Howie can abuse Thrax with his one passive that gives him increased attack speed and omnivamp, right? So what you do is you sit back and you just consistently auto the motherfuckers and use your cleave to get consistent attack speed, right? So eventually you're just healing and hitting so fast without ever taking aggro that nothing can fight back. Okay, anyways, whatever. I don't think any of these really need to be nerfed. Just nerfing the damage alone is kind of what killed the entire tree. Let's just face it, killed the entire tree. Everything else is just kind of, why are you kicking a dead horse kind of thing. You know, fucking Simpsons meme. Oh, stop it, he's already dead. Okay, Exarch. So there's some interesting interaction with Exarch. And this, I think I've talked about it before, that this game doesn't really explain to you what certain things mean, or very specifically what it means, right? Healing and shielding received. Okay, it says received. So what it never explains to you whether it's received from another person, or it's received for autoing, received from what, like from fucking Cyan, received from what exactly. It doesn't tell you. It does not tell you. But at the moment, there are some cheese strats specifically with Grux. My boy Bengal let me know about how a lot of these things work, right? My boy Bengal let me know. There's a lot of weird shit going on with that, you know, and I mean, 15 increased healing and shielding increase is insane. And then I believe the other tree was something like another 20% increase or some bullshit like that. So you get a massive amount of healing. Then you get your passive healing because of Grux, and then you get your item healing because of Grux, and then it's just insane, right? It's absolutely insane. So I'll tell you right now, if y'all want to fuck around with it, right now Grux with this is insanely strong. Chimera offlane is extremely oppressive, like absolutely oppressive. So right now Chimera offlane is kind of busted, or Chimera in general is busted, because they kind of gave him magic scaling on his healing passive, his region. And with one magic item, you can hit about 130, 140 HP a second for just existing. That's absolutely insane. 130 HP a second. By I think like second item or third item, like you're level 11 or something like that, you're healing 130 30 HP a second. And it's absolutely broken. Again, I knew this existed, but Bengal Daddy and another friend of mine, Black Yoshi, gave me like the heads up and the build path and stuff like that, right? But if you go Claw of Hermes, either first or second, it just depends. Some people go second, some people go first, right? I don't know. I've been building it first, and once that item comes online, like no one can touch you. Your HP region from passive is insanely high. You're now doing damage, bonus damage, because magic damage now increases your how many times your Q hits. You know, when you do that little thing where he auto attacks really fast, it now does 8. It increases it to 8 autos for that ability. So then now every auto of that ability is considered an auto attack. So now Claw of Hermes is now doing healing mana for each of those fucking hits, and then doing true damage based on the mana you're taking. So you're beating the crap out of people while increasing your healing, while stealing their mana, and then even if they do manage to do anything to you, you have a heal as an ability. You know, it's just absolutely fucking crazy. So again, if you want to fuck with XR, you want free wins, or you just want like to see how it works, run this with Grux, run this with Claw of Hermes, Kai. And when you do it, you either build Overlord into Claw of Hermes or vice versa. Then you build Void Helm or another item, or like the fucking physical one. I forgot what it's called right now. But you play around your health region, increase the healing like consistently, and you end up with crazy numbers of healing. But Claw of Hermes is core at the moment for Kai, because it just gives you so fucking much for literally losing nothing. Okay, so again, back to they seem to be afraid to do anything, or afraid to fix the real issues of the game, or the real problems. Lotus is just broken. And the reason why Lotus is broken is because it's infinitely scaling. It gives you 4 different stats, right? Like it if I'm not mistaken, it's like 4 different stats. It's HP. Yeah, it's HP, damage, ability haste, and then movement speed, right? There's some that are better than others. People like to argue, like I think in my last video, like, oh, having that much movement speed is great. Cool. Yes and no. Yes and no. Because if you caught out, you die anyway, kind of thing, right? But like the damage increase, the HP increase are huge. I know people who have hit 30 stacks of that thing. 30 stacks of Lotus. I've talked to some of the Paragooners, Paragon players. What the fuck? I call them Paragon. Paragooners have told me that they've hit up to 30, 40 stacks and has snowballed out of control because of it. It's a problem. And the other thing is it's randomized. So it's not even consistent enough to be reliable, but when it happens, it dominates the game. And they refuse to cap it. Just put caps on it. Cap it. Cap the fucking stats. Cap them, and you fix the fucking problem. Cap them. Or change like specific requirements, you know? Keep it to like every 2 minutes you get one. Or and that's fine, but then have like, well, you can only get so many from kills. There just needs to be some kind of cap to stop these from snowballing out of fucking control, dude. There has to be, because what's happening is just like in lower lobbies, specifically like in mid tiers, people are just snowballing out of control because of these things, and because they do that, tanks can't do anything. No one can survive. And then we're ending up again in the damage problem. Time to kill is getting extremely short because these things exist and they refuse to fucking cap them. It's a simple fucking solve. I mean, Demiurge is just good in general, you know, because, I mean, it buffs your fucking items. Literally, it buffs all your items. Awesome. There's really no downside to that, other than, like, some of these other ones are just, they get to a certain point faster. Perfect. Again, any nerf to damage, I'm taking. Awesome. This one, I myself have never really known if it was good or not. I really don't know. I never used this one, but I've seen people do it, and I mean, it seems interesting. Just I never cared. So now we're gonna go back to what I was gonna talk about how mages and ranged characters in offlane are absolutely oppressive and are not really being fixed. So Ion here gives you gold based on the ability damage that you do, right? On paper, this looks like a support passive, right? And you would think it's just about supports. The problem is, you can run this on pretty much any mage in the offlane, and they cannot do anything about you. Because the other parts of this tree are mana regen, right? Mana regen or some kind of thing, something to do with mana. You end up being in a situation where you almost never run out of mana. Almost never. It is impossible to like force some of these characters out of the lane at the moment, and they can just consistently get gold for free. I've done this. I've been doing this with Gadget, in offlane. So Gadget is already getting free stats because of her passive. She's getting a shit ton of gold because she, ironically enough, even though she doesn't have any real mobility, you can't really get onto her because she has her gate. You know, like she has her gate. So this is one thing, again, I was messing with in offlane. I did it for a little bit, but like at the time, I just didn't really see much of a difference, right? Because I wasn't really invested in it. I was thinking I want damage now. If I get the damage early, if I get these early, if I get the extra stats, it's better than this, right? But I was wrong. Again, Bengal Daddy, shout out to Bengal. He did tell me about this. I've been running it, and you recreate this kind of lane state in which you never really run out of mana. They can't touch you. and you're consistently getting gold leads by just existing and throwing out your little drone, right? So on gadget, you want to go the augment that increases the speed of your drone, the one that follows you or follows the enemy, and you just keep throwing that out, and you slowly build up a gold advantage because you're just consistently doing damage to them, right? And eventually, you find out that you're half an item up, even if your CS is the same, or an entire item up by like mid game. It's just absolutely crazy. Okay, hero balancing. We'll talk about hero balancing real fast. This is going to be quite a longer video. I don't know. I have a lot to say, I guess. I am kind of talkative. So, my opinion right now on Adele is like I think she's okay at the moment. Obviously, in competitive and solo queue play are not the same thing. Like that's just something that needs to be said, and people need to understand that solo queue and comp are not the same. They're absolutely different. They're played in an absolutely different way. There's completely different strategies, and there's completely different play styles that are applicable to each one. Adele in comp play is probably is top tier. She is top tier. In solo queue, I feel that's a little bit of a different story, right? And the reason why I say it's a different story in solo queues because you're not able to rely on your randoms as much as you are on a team, right? So it's just kind of different. But I will say the changes they're making, like fine, reduce damage again, any damage reduction, I'll take, right? I'll fucking take it. Damage decreased, like damage decreased, fine, decrease your damage. The real problem with Adele, specifically in like comp, is that she gets a massive damage reduction for just existing. Her ability to reduce damage is extremely powerful. To put it into perspective, League of Legends has a character called Alistair, whose entire ultimate is literally damage reduction. And Adele has damage reduction as a basic ability. So yeah, the damage reduction ability is a problem. I think that should be like a trade-off or something, and then they can move the damage reduction onto her ultimate with everything else, and it would still be fine. It would be absolutely fucking fine. Just change her current ability to something slightly differently. Like maybe a fucking AoE slow or some shit if they're like near you kind of thing, you know? But the damage reduction needs to go from that ability. Everything else is irrelevant. They're buffing her jungle and her offlane. So she's going to do a little, ironically, she's going to be doing more damage because of this. So if you want, check her out in offlane or jungle. She's like fucking C tier in my opinion in those lanes because she's extremely easy to abuse. She doesn't have much mobility. Yeah, she can dash you if she lands in her lash or whatever, which is cool. But once she goes in, she can't get out, kind of deal. And in lane, she's extremely vulnerable to ganks because again, she has no mobility, and if she pushes out, she can't get out. It's just that simple. She's C tier in my opinion, and she's like S tier in as a support. In comp, B tier in like solo queue. So this one is stupid as shit to me. If I'm not mistaken, this was a buff. Yeah, this is a buff for some reason. They increased his mana regen. He's getting a mana regen increase for some reason because players refuse to manage mana in a lane where they don't have to manage mana because Riverbug exists. So they're making it easier to spam your ability, which he can do at level 1 and instantly win lane. They're reducing the cost of his ability because, again, he can already do this at level 1, instantly win the lane, and force you to waste your mana to try to fucking catch up. I don't see the point of that. So this is just a straight out buff. And Argus is just, in my opinion, one of those characters that you can just run and not need to know how to play, and you just beat the shit out of people. They pretty much increased his damage output by reducing the costs. So his damage per minute is now increased significantly because of that. That is just how that works. And from my understanding, a lot of these people don't even fucking max Particle Shredder. A lot of people don't max Particle Shredder. They max his stun. So they go stun and then Particle Shredder. So he's literally just got a massive buff, an insane buff. You don't want to need to know how to lane? Play Argus. Bale. So we just talked about Bale. Yep. Nerf the third one, please. They need to nerf this. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's interesting that he has his third auto as an increased damage. Cool, awesome, that's fine. But it creates an extremely oppressive laning phase. He is extremely oppressive throughout almost the entire game. Almost no one can match him. Like, there's no way to match him because he's getting a massive amount of damage on a third auto, and then Dire Howl technically reduces the damage he takes because it heals him for a certain amount of damage that he takes after the effect, right? Which is Dire Howl, the one that they nerfed here. So he gets 8% Omnivamp now, realistically at level 1. At level 1, he gets 8% Omnivamp, a 10% damage reduction because he heals 10% of that fucking health after the ability. And then he has a stupid amount of attack speed because for some reason in this game, they refuse to have attack speeds lower than 1 per second or some shit like that. Then you run Thrax on top of him. So now if you even try to touch him, him getting his third strike is even faster. If he has Dire Howl active, he's healing even faster. He's clearing wave even faster. So now he has Primal Lane. He's cleared your wave. You can't walk up because every third auto he beats the shit out of you. He just has too much, and then Thrax makes it even worse. Again, Thrax is a problem. Put a cap on it. Please, for the love of fucking God, Omega. Just add caps and all your problems are fixed. Boris, it's kind of a pub stomper in my opinion. By what I mean by pub stomper is he's kind of a character that excels at players not understanding how to manage waves or understanding gank pathing, right? His entire thing is, well, you pushed your wave out again, I'm gonna go kill you. That's his entire gameplay. Oh, you pushed that out, guess I gotta go kill you. You know, if you understand how waves work or or pathing and stuff like that, you'll be like, oh, Boris is on red side. I'm going to leave now. Please and thank you. Boom, done. Can't gank you anywhere. Can't gank you. Literally can't. Boris is a pub stomper. You just need to understand where he's going to be, why he might be there, and then if you don't really want to deal with that, just try to freeze lane or leave if you don't know where he's at. It's very simple. He's a pub stomper. But again, any reduction to damage, I'll fucking take it. So, Countess needs a nerf. Countess needs a nerf because she's someone who can abuse Ion, right? The gold one. I've been testing it out with her recently because I've seen other people doing it, like some of the higher players doing it, higher bracket players, and I've been testing it out. It's absolutely oppressive. Her biggest weakness in lane, well, she has 2 weaknesses in lane, or used to. Her biggest 2 weaknesses in lane had to do with her mana management because she does have high mana costs. And her other weakness was, well, I mean, she early on, she can't, well, even into the mid portions of the game, her entire trade pattern revolves around bursting, setting up for ultimate to kill you, right? So the other weakness is that she doesn't win consistent trades. Like, not consistent trades, if it's an extended fight. She cannot win extended fights because she has cooldowns and she's reliant on her passive and burst. But again, Ion kind of mitigates a lot of those issues because now she's getting a shit ton of mana back. And every time she trades with you, when she already does a stupid amount of damage, she's getting gold off of you now. Right? So she can chunk you, and for every time she's chunking you, she's getting gold back. I've been testing this out, and you end up with an item advantage, an item and a half advantage by almost 10-12 minutes if you're doing it consistently, and the enemy player is just doesn't understand how to play against you. Like, you snowball out of control with it. Okay, Crunch. I'm not gonna lie here. I don't think Crunch needs a buff. I do not think Crunch needs a buff. I do not. I just honestly think people do not understand how to play Crunch, or they're just playing it in a really weird manner. Sorry, in a really weird manner. So, and as for the Paragooners I've been talking about, I've played against Slade this past week, I think 3 or 4 times. I have other accounts. I play on multiple accounts sometimes. So I've played against them with one of the multiple accounts, right? He's Slade is a Crunch one trick, I believe. And he's been running Ion. Which I understand why he's running Ion, because Crunch does have kind of mana issues in terms of the early game and stuff like that. But then after that, he doesn't really do anything. It's really weird. I don't really know why he goes Ion. It's not great, at least for what Crunch would want to do, in my opinion, what he would want to do. I mean, I could see him running Vermis instead and doing infinitely more, or just straight up running Thrax and just autoing me to death because of how his passives work, right? I don't think he needs a buff. I think this might actually break him in the long run, and I am going to start actually playing him now, because why the fuck not? Okay, Decker. I do not know why they keep buffing Decker. I do not know why they gave her infinite scaling. I don't know why. I do not know why. Decker is already extremely oppressive in lane at times because she can stun you, she can help push wave, she can lock you down, like she has mobility built in. As a support, she's extremely oppressive. And it's just kind of annoying to deal with her because again, she has mobility even if you try to. And even if she does fuck up her mobility, she just drops her wall and walks away anyways. Decker is probably going to be top tier. Support, I don't care what other people are saying. She's probably going to be top tier. That because damage exists and supports don't even build support items right now, so just build more damage anyways, right? Okay, so I think Gadget kind of needs some buffs. The only way that she's actually viable at the moment is if she runs Ion or something else that just allows her to stay in lane and manage her mana better. The problem with her is that every mage in the game just out damages the shit out of her. She can't match anyone in push. She can't match anyone in poke. Fucking Neon can out clear her with one ability. Gideon has mobility. His ultimate slows you. He can root you. Guy just like, let me throw this out and hope to fucking God you walk into it. Her abilities are hard to land. In terms of mid laners, like Iggy is stupidly easy, clears wave, has low mana cost because of turrets existing. Even if he doesn't have turrets, he can clear way faster than her. Neon can instantly kill people. Her wave clear is insane. She has less mana costs. She has mobility. She has an invis if she wants it. She has fucking her ultimate increases all her abilities and powers and whatever the fuck you want to call it. Plus adds more damage. Her ultimate is more versatile. Like almost everyone just feels better than her. Mori is more aggressive, though she can't really push wave as well. She can 1v1 you really like consistently. She can assassinate you from across the fucking map if she wants to. Rena, though she has a slower start, she does more in general. She has a fucking execute on her ability. Her normal passives heal her regularly. She scales better because of Omega. Her ultimate moves with her. Her ultimate is pretty much a better gadget ult because she can move it. You know, like Gadget's ult is one of those things where you just kind of throw it down and she's reliant on everyone playing around her. Versus all these other characters at the moment where they can ult and then just chase you, or like Faye. Faye can ult and there's no way out of it anymore because they removed the ability to cleanse it, so you just die. Her ult is probably the weakest in the game in terms of mid laners just because of the fact that it has the least utility out of every single mage in the game. It is the least utility because it's reliant on either you landing your one fucking CC ability or your team CCing people for you. Gideon, he's just kind of annoying. I don't think he's great. I feel like he's in a decent spot. I just don't like that he gets a root for a passive. Like, I think that's stupid as shit. Like, why does he get mobility, a really good fucking ult, high damage, and then because he doesn't have another damaging ability, we're gonna give him a root for existing. Like, no, come on, dude. Come on. Just get rid of the root. Just get rid of the root, and then it requires a little more fucking brain power to play. So they just reverted him or something. Okay, they nerfed Greystone last patch because they said that he was bad, or that not that he was bad, but that he was being oppressive and all this bullshittery. And now they're buffing him again. I mean, realistically speaking, I don't even think he was that good before. I just think people don't know how to play Greystone. I'm very curious where they're getting these numbers from. I've been able to play Greystone into almost every matchup with zero issue. He's like once he gets Overlord or starts Overlord and he gets the cleaver, like it's a different fucking story. Once he gets Overlord, it's absolutely over for whoever they're laying against because I'm gonna jump in. If you're sitting on that wave, you're gonna give me a fucking 40% cooldown on my mobility. I jump in, I EU, I start my Q, my AoE, I insta clear wave, and now either you fucking leave or you fight me inside my wave. That's literally his fucking trade pattern. So I don't think he needs a buff. I think he was fine. I think he was fine before, but I mean he's just better again. I guess he's I don't know what to say. I think he's probably one of the better offlaners at the moment because he's easy to play. He provides a lot of wave clear. He has prio in lane. He has the ability to tank because of his ultimate. It's like it's difficult to deal with him unless you see like beat the crap out of him somehow and then pull him out of his jump or kill him before he can ult. Like he has very few windows to like to realistically try to kill him. And even within those windows, he doesn't give a fuck because if he's running Thrax, he's gonna be running at you anyways and killing you. Or if he's running Crix, he's just gonna go into the wave, instantly heal about 6% of his health, and then leave. Like like I just think people don't know how to play very well. So this is an issue. This is something that I was abusing. If I'm not mistaken, you hit up to like 10, or yeah, it's like 5 stacks. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's up to 5 stacks, right? So again, this is what I was using with Thrax. Um, I would use Thrax with sniper shells because it gives you what 20% attack speed. Yeah, it's like 20% attack speed as the passive with 10% fucking Omnivamp at level 1. Then you run Thrax, and then you just keep hitting them with your cleave ability, and then you end up impossible to trade with, right? So again, biggest problem, Thrax. People outside of that, people use this for, if I'm not mistaken, they use this to get out of the early game in mid lane matchups because I mean, who the fuck has 10% Omnivamp at level 1 for just autoing things, right? Bale. Um, honestly, I find her it's like for Kalari, they're nerfing their health regeneration or something like that, and then her mark passive. I'm not really too sure what people are going on Kalari. I never find any really good ones. They're either really stupidly bad or they just don't do anything. Um, Assassins should have prio in the early game. They should have kill pressure. Like that's when they should be the strongest, right? I do find it kind of weird that she gets a shit ton of health regen when she's invis. I never really understood that. It never made sense to me. But I don't in terms of damage, I still haven't really seen her as much of a problem because it's difficult to say. It's again because it's just Eternals that are fucking up the power scaling. Getting kills gives you more power, so it kind of fucks everything up in that sense. I did not know you could cleanse this stuff, or it wasn't supposed to be cleansed, I should say. I did not know it was not supposed to be cleansed. So I guess that's a buff. Murdoch. Murdoch is one of those characters that he just kind of has a shit ton of damage. And in off lane, he's extremely oppressive because you can't jump on him. And again, there are Eternals that just make it even more impressive because attack speed, sustain, mobility, all that bullshittery, right? So he's just strong in general. Plus his augment to give him extra range, and I think it's also pierces through everything, so he can poke you. He can do damage to you. He has a lot of safety. He has mobility. He has the ability to push you back if you jump on him. You know, like he just has a lot in his kit that makes him extremely difficult for anyone melee to even touch him. And then with Justice Reach here, it gives him the ability to poke in lanes that can't fight back against him, or at least consistently. So again, nerfs, I'll take them. Damage nerfs, fucking add more of them. Yes, to reduce something. He does this stupid amount of damage and he's able to do it freely. I don't see Muriel ever. So again, I'm not really sure where they're getting a lot of their info from. See, especially when paired with likes of Boris Sheriff. So this is probably some kind of boosting strat that people were using to like hard win games for free. What I do think is I don't think she should have damage reduction on her ultimate. That's kind of broken in my opinion. But outside of that, that's the only thing I think is broken. Everything else, I mean, I think she's fine. She's a team reliant support, meaning it's probably best when you're playing with a group of people. It's just a quality of life. It doesn't change anything for her. Nitrogen growth increased. Bonus power significantly increased. I don't. It's kind of difficult to say about Rev because the people who play him, I just don't think know how to play Rev. I think that's just the problem. People don't know how to play Rev, and they pick it because they think it's really strong or it's cool, but then they don't land autos. They don't use their abilities correctly. They ult, but they ult to try to take kills, but then they just save them because they're stupid. Like I just don't think people know how to play Rev. Plus, a lot of the itemizations I've been seeing for some of these people are like, "What the fuck?" kind of thing. I've been seeing people run Thrax and fucking random ass. Was it Plasma Blade on him? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like the fuck? Um, Phase. My problem with Phase is I think she's just too easy to play in multiple roles because of the amount of safety she gets. So she gets 2 blinks at an extremely short cooldown. She heals herself for using abilities. She can poke you with her beam, especially if she goes with the augment. She can blind you. So, like, what exactly do you do? A lot of them just go attack speed because attack speed's broken and it's just extremely easy to use. And there's attack speed options available for both magic and fucking physical. So why the fuck wouldn't you, right? But the biggest problem or annoyance with her is she just does a lot and she does it so fucking safely that it's just annoying. Maybe increase the fucking they need to increase the cooldown on her blink and either give it a higher cost to actually make it risky or make it that there's like some kind of time frame in which you cannot use that second blink because they will literally blink in, blink out, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. So Severog, ironically enough, I think is good. I think Severog is good, but he kind of falls into the whole issue of that he kind of needs to scale. Like that's his issue. He needs to scale in a game or in a meta in which doesn't care for scaling because what you want is kills. Kills equals scaling. Damage equals scaling right now. That's the problem. Damage equals scaling. Extended fights equals scaling. Kills and assists just give you free damage. You know, like you can't scale in a game where getting a kill just permanently increases damage because you got a kill. Like it's extremely difficult, right, to do any of that. So I think he's strong. It's just he doesn't fit in the meta right now. He just doesn't. If he snowballs out of control, you become a problem. But if it becomes kind of like a stalemate kind of thing, you just get outscaled slowly because everyone just running infinitely scaling abilities. You know, like, oh look, I have a fucking 20% increased damage. What are you gonna do about that, Sevrog? Oh look, I have fucking 40 stacks of Lotus. I have movement speed, damage, and extra health. What are you gonna do about it, Sev? He's good. He just doesn't work in the meta. Um, I'm a Shinbi main. At the moment, her best option is just going Ion. Her early game is still weak, but Ion allows her to mitigate a lot of it with the early mana region into quicker items, right? Like if she needs items and levels. That's just kind of what Shinbi is. She needs levels and items in order to do anything. And Ion allows her to stay in lane longer, to keep mana up higher. It gives her a safer lane because she has mana. And well, she gets her items, right? So run Ion on Shinbi if you're going to be running her. She's extremely strong in that regard. But again, she still has her weaknesses. She still needs to scale. She still has a weak early game, but Ion allows her to mitigate that, and it makes her laning phase much easier to deal with. Terra, Terra is just one of those things where her early game is kind of oppressive because she's extremely tanky, and well, her passive, right? She's one of those characters that has um enhanced abilities because so she's extremely difficult to deal with in the early portions of the game, specifically because her swing or whatever, ruthless assault, it does increase damage based on HP. So she always does damage. She's extremely tanky. Then you have currently she's one of the few people who uses that other tank augment or eternal. So she gets even tankier to do more damage. She gets HP regen for poking her. She gets shield. She gets bonus damage. She gets some a root or a stun, a slow kind of bullshittery. And then she gets more stats because of her ultimate, and then she makes it even easier to tower dive kind of thing, right? She's kind of one of those characters that's in more of like a stat check at the moment, where she just has so many goddamn stats on her abilities and passives plus Eternals stacking on top of it that it's just difficult to do anything to her in the early portion of the game. And as the game goes on, it's harder because again, she's just so tanky while still doing damage because she exists. I think she's a relatively strong character. Even with these nerfs, I think she's still pretty good. You just need to know how to play around her because she doesn't play like your general tank. She's like a weird steel that a bruiser. It's just fucking weird to me. She's not your traditional tank in that sense. She wants to brawl. Uh, okay, so it's kind of a neutral change to Faye. My problem with Faye is that she's stupidly easy. She's absolutely easy. You just run Bramble Patch. Like just spam that. That's your wave clear. That's your poke. There's really no problems in playing her. Just run that shit and like GG's, I guess. Like she's just really easy, and her ultimate is stupidly broken in my opinion because it's one of the few ultimates that you legitimately do not have any way of getting out of right now. Like you can't cleanse it, you can't blink out of it. If it hits you, you get pulled back in. Like there's no way out anymore. So I think her ultimate is extremely oppressive, and her ability to just spam Bramble to both poke and clear and safety is kind of an issue. She's extremely easy. She's extremely strong in team fights. She has a pretty straightforward laning phase, and it's relatively safe, all things considered. Yeah, she has mana issues from time to time, but when you're in mid lane and your jungler just has to show up for you to get a free fucking river, what the hell does it even matter? Because who cares about resource management when river bugs exist, right? She's still going to be good. She's still going to be relatively easy. Let me just play her. Why play anything else if you can play characters that are extremely easy and oppressive in team fights? I did like no, there's no point. Wukong. Okay, so they're nerfing him because of his wave clear. The few Wukongs I have seen, I have bodied each and every single one of them. I have bodied each and every single one of these Wukongs. But I want to believe that this is a preemptive nerf to the changes that they're making to minions, and that's pushing into the later portions of the game being absolutely like just powerful. So I want to give them credit for that, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm giving too much credit. So if that is the case, this is a win. I personally have not seen a Wukong ever do good. Maybe at least to me. They're very simple. Like they have one fucking strat. It's just hard push, and almost anyone and everyone can kind of counter that if you understand what they're doing, and it makes them just kind of stupid to play against. Like you don't even play against them; he can't do anything to you in most cases. Any nerf to damage, I'll take. I do think this was necessary. This change was necessary because Jesus Christ, this motherfucker was popping bitches left and right. He was popping motherfuckers. So I am okay with this. I still think that people who are good with him are still going to be oppressive. But I think, again, any damage nerf, any nerfs to damage, I'll fucking take him. He's still going to be decent, in my opinion. He's just not going to be as oppressive on people who don't know how to land abilities. As oppressive. Okay, again. So I want to talk about Yin real fast. Yin is still going to be broken. And the reason why she's still going to be broken is because she has so many options in terms of Eternals to run, and she's a stat check character right now. What do I mean by that? If you guys don't really know the way I think it's her E, right? It's her E, how her E works. Is her E. So the way her E works, it's supposed to be her ability to help her clear jungle, right? She gains HP. It gives her sustain. It does damage based on enemy health, and then her passive is increased attack speed as she attacks them, right? So she's getting attack speed, she's getting lifesteal, she's getting free damage, she's getting cleave, she's getting range. One ability does all that for her with her entire kit, right? So then with that, her E also has almost no cooldown in the sense that the second the duration ends, like a second later, you can use it again. So she has no cooldown on that ability, and then the damage and the health passive on that are passives. It's not based on whether the ability is active or not. So she has insane wave clear. She has insane poke. She has insane DPS. She has insane fucking sustain. Then you go straight into Sky Splitter on her, and nothing can fight you. Like melee wise, there's nothing anyone can do about her in the offense. There's nothing. Like, what do you do exactly? If you're Grux, you try to pull her, jump onto her. You do that, she just pushes you away, and that's it. The fight's over. She beats you to death because you can't keep up with her. Greystone, you try to jump on her, she can do the same thing. She can just push you away. You can't do anything. She still beats you to death. If you somehow get back onto her, she just jumps away. Like that's just kind of the loop for everyone. Steel can't do anything. You go in, you try to do everything, then she just starts auting you to death and heals back up and beats the shit out of you because health damage and all that bullshittery. Like there's just nothing you can really do. Richter's gonna run at her. She's gonna ignore the shit out of him. Shield goes down. She beats the shit out of you. Bale will try to go in on her. Same thing. She has an escape. She can push you away, and then she just beats the shit out of you. Like like she just like, what the fuck do you do against something that can push you away, that can jump, and gets 4 different fucking stats for just existing? Like what do you do? She's extremely oppressive, and they refuse to nerf her. They refuse to nerf her. Her core issues are all the free stats she's getting. Like, she just gets so much free stats, bro. She needs something to be removed. If you just remove something out of her kit, like fucking, or at least give her fucking E some kind of actual cost for using it. Remove her attack speed buff for hitting stuff. Something. You have to do something for her to be balanced, because right now the Eternals don't fucking help. Everyone runs Strax on her, So she just beats the crap out of you anyways. Like, oh man, something needs to be done. You need to actually nerf stats on her. She's still gonna be an issue. She's still gonna be a problem. They just refuse to fix what the issues are on her. Zinx is a whole different thing. Like it's just it's Thrax. It's Thrax in general. Infinite attack speed. It's just Thrax. And again, they refuse to cap it, so it's still gonna be a problem. But it doesn't matter because you're not gonna fucking nerf it. So the problem with Zinx is specifically in off lane and in support, in my opinion, because everyone just runs Thrax, they poke the shit out of you, and then she just DPSs you to death because Thrax. It's the same thing in off lane as well. And it ends up being extremely oppressive because you can't really do anything to her. Another character that like you try to jump on her, she stuns you, okay, she just walks away. Because her stun is stupidly easy to land. You jump on her, she stuns you, she walks away. You try to pull her, you run at her or whatever, she stuns you, she walks away. She slows you, she walks away, and she's not as oppressive as Yin, but she's still oppressive because she has like extra burn damage on her autos and stuff like that. Like she's just, it's just Thrax. It's Thrax in general. It's just Thrax is in the game, and they refuse to nerf it. They refuse to put caps on the problem. Okay, item balances. I think I saw this earlier. When I saw this earlier, I thought some of it was kind of interesting. Like, yeah, Earth Spirit's removed because they broke it and could never fix it. Gamma Gloop is, in my opinion, very situational, but probably be kind of broken in terms of comp play. Eviscerator, I don't understand why this gives you 10% fucking Omnivamp for existing. I don't think it should do that. It already gives you damage. Why does it give you Omnivamp too? Remove it. Remove Omnivamp. There's too many fucking stats in this game that either increase damage or survivability in the weird sense of like the things that have damage are getting now survivability because they get, you know, more damage or more sustain because they press the button. Right now, I just think resolution is kind of a dead item. And the reason why I say that is there's very few characters that want to build it, and the few characters that do build it don't particularly care about it. Like TV would want to build it, but he's better off just going Solaris into anything else, honestly. Because once he has Solaris, that's when he comes online. He doesn't care about the mana at that point. He's gonna pop you. So last patch, or not last patch, when Eternals were released, one of the changes they made was they pretty much buffed all carry and assassin items, and they gave them +5. They gave all these items +5 damage, right? All of them got +5 damage, but then they nerfed tank items. So now they haven't reverted the extra damage they've given all these items. So the extra damage in items is still there across the board. They've nerfed tank, and they're saying they have acknowledged that there is a time to kill problem. There's a damage issue, but they're not going to revert the damage that they added into the game through items. Though it's not the biggest thing in the world, I just find that kind of interesting. Sky Splitter is strong in general. It's just a bruiser item. It's just extremely versatile. Again, nerfs to damage, anything I'll take it. Same thing with Stormbreaker. Any nerfs to damage, I'll take it. Echelon Cloak is I don't even know who fucking builds this item like in an unironic way. It's just such a weird fucking item in the game that I've never seen anyone actually build. I don't know why it's still in the game. If anyone has any clues or like builds around Echelon Cloak, fucking let me know, because I don't know where the fuck people use this item. Sorry, I sneezed. Citadel. Citadel's kind of an interesting item because it's not only a bruiser item, it's also a support item. So the reason why I say it's a support item is because of its passive, which is reducing armor or some shit. I forgot how much it was, like 20%, 25%, some shit like that. It reduces the armor of enemies around you, right? So it is technically a bruiser and a support item if you use it correctly. Which means both bruiser and support got buffed, which means Veil got buffed because of this, or anyone that could use it got buffed realistically. Oh yeah, the rebirth was rework. Yeah, remember that. It's up at the very top. Astral Catalyst, magic power increased. See, like, why? 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 You're telling us there's an issue with damage. You have acknowledged there's a damage issue, and then you say, let's add more damage. Why? So Claw of Hermes here, y'all don't know, is an item. If I might be wrong on some of the stats here, it has magic power, a stupidly high amount of magic power. It has health and has ability haste, and its passive is literally that for every auto you land, it drains like 2% of the mana of the like 2% of the enemy's max mana, right? So you're draining their mana, and then not only are you draining their mana, you're doing true damage based on a specific percentage of that amount that you're taking. So this is why Kais are running this right now, because it gives you health, which you want. It's giving you magic power, which increases your self healing, and it increases the amount of hits per Q that you use. It moves it from 6 to 8. Keep that in mind. So there's that. Okay, Gaussian Greaves. I don't know who the fuck is building this thing. It is absolutely pointless goddamn item. And on paper, it sounds good because it gives you defensive stats and shit like that. But unless it gives you a little increased movement or like some kind of damage mitigation meant for burst, no one gives a fuck. Like, no one's gonna use this shit. I don't know why they're buffing Oathkeeper, but they're buffing it. Fuck it. Again, we're talking about damage being an issue in the game, so they're just gonna give us more damage by reducing the cooldown of Soulbinder. So now you get more stacks on Soulbinder, meaning you technically get more damage because Soulbinder. Yeah, so there's that. I don't recall how much mana it used to give, but Time Warp was nerfed a while back because it gave too much mana regen. Right? It gave too much mana regen. I don't remember where it was at before. I think it was at like 200% mana regen before, if I am not mistaken. But it is true that, I mean, at the moment, support items just give you so much fucking mana regen. It's insane. But I mean, it's technically a buff, right? And it's by association, increasing the mana regen means you just increase the damage output per minute. So I mean, that's technically a buff to damage, technically. Okay, Giant's Ring. No one really uses it because there's no like it's difficult to even try to add this into a build. Because if you're building physical armor, you're kind of forced into stone wall. If you're even building any real defense at that point, you're just forced into stone wall. So this is kind of, it's not that no one wants to build it, is that there's no place for us to build it. Like if we're building defensive options, like there's just no place to build it because Stonewall is a core item if you're building armor in the first place. Hey, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with that buff because it helps mitigate some of the damage problems, so I'll take it. And transference is, again, it's one of those very situational fucking items that is made even more powerful because of an eternal. So it's kind of hard, and it's very, what's the word here? It's very situational because again, it's something that very few characters can even utilize in any way, shape, or form. But the ones that can use it, because these specific Eternals exist, just makes it easier to use. So the nerf to it is fine. I did not realize it gave you a 12% increase to movement speed, which is kind of weird that it has such a massive movement speed buff. But hey, looks like that's kind of it for this. In the long run, I do think that these patch notes were relatively good. It's just they still refuse to attack the real issues on some of these characters, which is their ability to abuse the passive stats that they get, mixed with the Eternals not having caps on specific ones, and some of these Eternals legitimately just negating the downsides, just characters like their early game or mana consumptions, right? Things like that. Like they just kind of refuse to touch on some of these things that are the main issues of the game. It's a good patch overall. I'm glad that they're starting to touch damage. They're starting to add caps to some of these things. It's great. It's just you need to add caps to everything. You cannot just have caps on like one or two things and then say no to the rest, because that just doesn't change anything. Then those are still part of the problem. Those are still core problems, and now you just made them more of a priority to pick because the other things got capped while these didn't. So I mean, it doesn't change anything. These are still going to be there. The damage is still going to be there. It's just not going to be as harsh, right? It's just not going to be as harsh, but it's still there. You need to add caps. Caps would fix everything and make it easier to balance. Anyways, this is an hour and 35-minute fucking video. I've been talking the entire time. I'm a yapper. Sorry, it happens. I love the game. But on a side note, I do stream. I do play the game regularly. And this upcoming rank season, I do intend to play to get to Paragon. Hopefully, I am not gonna get frustrated and pissed off that I don't play more than 100 games, But I am going to try to hit Paragon, and this is going to be more to prove a point that I honestly do think a lot of players just suck at the game, and they're abusing the rank system, because they are. They really are. This is just going to prove a point. That's it. Well, anyways, see you guys later. For anyone who still watches my shit, thank you. I appreciate all of you. I do this as a hobby and for other reasons, and I hope, if nothing else, I hope you guys learn a little bit of something here and there as I try to talk about the game.